I would like to highlight some of our collaborative research and development work, which is between ICGB, the community, Arba Minch University, now on board. Lucy Enset is already on board. So I would like to highlight you something which is taken from the lab to the market, which is not usual, especially in developing countries. So I would like to highlight some of this initiative, how it gets started, and now the status of this collaboration as a whole. So it should work, yeah. So as you know how, so my talk focuses on indigenous food crop. So I would like to share my own experience, what we did so far, especially from the lab aspect, and also how we took it to the field, then to the market. So that will be the focus of my talk. Then I would like to highlight some of the overview of what is all about the food system, especially in Ethiopia and Africa specifically, and what our R&D initiative, and of course we have some take-home message. I think all of you know, no need to mention about the world population, the rapid population growth nowadays. It's becoming like a blessing sometimes, but sometimes it's a headache if we didn't get prepared for that. So that's expected to be 10 billion by 2060. That's the expectation. But we need to have more food. That's the home take message, meaning that we have to increase our production of food from 50 to 70% of the current production. And we don't need to expand the farmland. We need to have something which is really critical, We need to increase the food that we are producing today. So there is also, this is just, we need more food. In the meantime, there is also a need in growth of the purchasing power of the middle class. The middle class will increase in an alarming rate. So there will be a shift in the food system. We need to think a little bit outside the box so that we can have more food. That means there is more healthy and nutritious food should be there in the market by 2060 or even beyond that. So we need to prepare it a little bit ahead. So I don't need to mention what the World Food Program is mentioning, The World Program is mentioning we need to, in 2025 alone, at this time, there are 828 million people, they really need food at this time. But, I don't want, in the meantime, we need also 2.5 million children each year die as a result of malnutrition or stunting, So we need to have something which is really crazy. And paradoxically, 1/3 of the total food being produced throughout the globe is being wasted, which is 4 times the amount required to feed, the one who need food at this time, The amount, this is a bit paradox, We are doing well in food production. In the meantime, we are lagging behind in terms of food safety, in terms of food waste and post-harvest loss. So we need to rethink something outside the box, as I said it before, because in Africa, the food and the nutrition issue becomes still a headache, of course, because of the climate change, the insecurity issue. We have also other issues within Africa, the inflation and something like that, which is affecting the food system as a whole. So for the last several decades, we have been treating the symptom. We are not working towards the root cause of the problem, meaning that when somebody needs food, we have been delivering food for them. That's in terms of humanitarian or something like that. We shouldn't have, we should have worked towards the symptoms, So whenever we have the symptoms, we should act on the root cause of that problem instead of addressing the early symptoms. So in order to address the root cause of this problem and attain the sustainable development of goal by 2030, we need to have something which is a little bit outside the box. We need a little bit beyond, we need to think a little bit outside the box, specifically for Africa, Now, one of the things we should consider is the indigenous food crops. They call them, most of the time it's called indigenous food crops, but I call them the untapped resources of the world, not only Africa. They are the untapped because these crops are, most of them are climate resilient food crops. They are also well adapted to a certain region. They can easily be adapted to other parts of the world. Of course, most of them are also nutrient dense, or they are nutritious. Of course, some of them, of course, they have strong cultural significance, meaning that the cultural attachment with the local people is really known, or they are really very well culturally accepted food types. Some of these indigenous or untapped food products or foods include that of Ensete, cassava, moringa, sorghum, and I can mention a lot of these crops. These are indigenous, but they are at the same time untapped resources of the world. So we need to, they are not like they have the potential to feed the world, but they are not recognized as they deserve. That's why our work focused on one of these crops, which is called Ensete. For some of you who doesn't know Ensete, Ensete is considered as a climate resilient food crop. As you can see, everybody thinks that it's a banana plant. Actually, it's a false banana. It doesn't bear edible fruits. So instead of the edible fruits, the stem, the pseudostem, and the underground both of them are processed, kept in a soil pit, then fermented to get a food product or a bread. So this food crop, or this crop, is considered as one of the climate risk. If you don't have rain for a year, even for 2 years, it stays evergreen. And the funny part is that you can harvest it at any time of the year. You can harvest it at any time of the year. In the meantime, the plant, you can have over 200 kgs of edible product per plant. It's climate resilient. It's also neutral. It's rich in different macro and micronutrients, but it's only grown in some parts of Ethiopia. So it's rich in calcium, iron. I can mention a lot of. It's also diabetic friendly food. It's rich in different macronutrients as well, and but it's also gluten free. But it's untapped resource of the world. That's why this is, for example, this is the former part. Sorry, this is the former part on the right side. So this one weighs 200 kg from the underground. We have also the above ground mass. So we can have much more than 200 kgs of edible product per plant. So these are the parts that's being processed, fermented, and get into that becomes a bread.
And how long does it take to grow to that size?
It depends on the variety. It started from 1.5 months to 3 to 4 months, but they usually keep it like for 5 years, depending on because they don't have nothing to do with insect. They keep it in their farm for a long time. Whenever they need food, they harvest it and they process it. It's not a seasonal crop. So whenever you need food, you can go to the farm and you bring it. You can process it. So that was the issue. So why the production and consumption of insect is limited to Ethiopia or some southern parts of Ethiopia? Why not it's promoted in Kenya? Why not in South Africa? Why not in Italy? So the production is only limited to, even the consumption is more of limited to Ethiopia. What makes it this crop is not like a global market? So why? Because we have several reasons, but most of the issue is related with the post-harvest issue. The post-harvest issue, especially, we don't have any machines to process this plant. Everything is processed using basic tools, So the local people, it's really labor intensive. It's inefficient. The tools are being used, and the processing times. For example, in some region, it may take them 3 days, 4 days, even up to 5 days just to process the plant, not to ferment. Just to process the plant, it takes 2-3 days on average, So they are using basic tools. So this is really labor intensive, which makes the production and the consumption, which limited the production and consumption in most parts of the world. And the second one is the fermentation process. If you have insect plant in your garden, you have to wait a minimum of 2 months. During the rainy season, 3 months, 4 months. So you need to wait 2 months to get the fermented food product out of. Even though you waited 2 months, you have you have a poor quality product at the end of the fermentation period. And you also had a high post-harvest loss. So you have variable quality. Sometimes you get very good quality. Sometimes you get very poor quality. Sometimes moderate. So this makes it also its application limited to a certain regions of Ethiopia. Even from our molecular analysis, thanks to the CRP grant we got from ICGEB, we tried to analyze which bacteria are there, the fermentation, who is responsible to ferment Ensete. We try to identify. There are really very good bacteria, which are it's dominated by lactic acid bacteria, which is really a very good feature, but there are also soil-borne microorganisms, especially the spore-forming ones, they are a threat to food safety, That's why we studied the detail. I don't want to go to the detail aspect of the scientific aspect. I will highlight some of the basic features. And the third challenge was the fermentation system, or the way they ferment Ensete is that they keep it in a soil pit. When I visit the rural area in Gurage area, when I asked them to show me the fermenting Ensete, and when we went to the pit, it was flooded with water. It was flooded with rainwater. So I saw it, and everywhere when I go to all Ensete growing regions, they keep it in the farm, meaning that they have up to 45% post-harvest loss, meaning that there is blackening of the product, there is flooding, they usually discard the part which is not fermented very well, or there is the black part, they usually discard, which really causes a high post-harvest loss. In some regions, they keep it in a soil, in a bamboo basket. And again, we try to see keeping in a pit, keeping in a jar, keeping in a soil, like in somewhere in. So this is, I think I don't need to go to the detail of the technical aspect, because it's full of like undesirable microorganisms, but it also contains some sort of desirable microorganisms. So, and the final food product, we have very limited food product out of Ensete, which really limited the application of this food product, meaning that either we have to get bread or porridge or some sort of like scrambled bulla. We don't have so many options, which makes it the application really very limited. So that's why these things like limited the production and consumption of Ensete into some parts of Ethiopia. So, and once we get all this information from all the 5 Ensete growing regions, we came up with some innovative and science-based or evidence-based solutions for all Ensete growing farmers, meaning that we have over 25 million farmers, they use Ensete on daily basis. They have it on breakfast, lunch, even dinner. So they have it on daily. So we tried to have scientific information to make sure that they deserve good food and they can process it within a short period of time. The first thing, we designed, manufactured locally, user-friendly and cost-effective machines. We can have a big machine, but that machine cannot be used by the smaller farmers. So user-friendly, cost-effective machines were designed and produced and delivered to the end users. So the local farmers, they can easily process Ensete using the new machine that we developed locally. First, we gave them like the prototypes, then we get feedback, we improved it, and finally we get a much better version of this machine, and now we delivered it to 5 regions of Ethiopia. So now the machine or the labor-intensive issue becomes, a minimum of it took them 2 to 3 days. Now they can process everything within 1 hour. Everything within 1 hour. So this is like it's like a game-changing like innovation for them. It gave them relief, because Ensete processing is like exclusively left for women across the 5 regions of Ethiopia, which makes it really painful throughout all Ensete growings. I don't know. Men are either lazy in all Ensete growing regions, or I don't know what taboo is associated with this food system. So once we have this one, again, we managed to have a starter culture. So we had a massive starter culture collections, meaning massive bacteria collection in our lab. Then thanks to our, again, ICGB with the CRP project, with Betty and other partners, of course, more with that one, we managed to develop a well-defined starter culture that works for all insect variety across different agroecologies. We evaluated under lab condition, then under field condition, then under farmers condition, and it passed all the conformity requirements of the starter culture in Ethiopia. Then once we have all this data, once we have all the validation work, now we gave it to even to the enterprises using mass production of the starter cultures, So as you can see it in the slide on the left side, you can see there is an inoculated Ensete, which is fermented for 2 months. This one is inoculated, fermented for just 7 days. Just within 7 days, we can have a premium kocho paste with known or with defined starter culture. Even if you see the color, the smell, everything is controlled, and it's like a predictable fermentation. But the traditional, it's not predictable. Even the quality of the product is not predictable. The timing is not predictable as a whole. So the starter culture, what everybody thinks that the machine was the game-changing. Actually, the starters were the game-changing innovation in this work, because it saved their time, it saved the whole time that took to ferment. And in the meantime, it also ensured the predictability of the final product. And finally, we also introduced a jar or bag or drum bag, something which can easily control the fermentation process. They have been keeping it in a soil pit. Now we brought it into a more confined container so that we can have like a controlled fermentation, as well as we don't have any disturbance from the outside world. And finally, once we have all this technology, now a brand new and gluten-free, I can mention a lot of things here. A new product from Insect, which is the kocho flour. This product have not been in the market in Ethiopia or anywhere in the world. So thanks to the starters, thanks to all this technology, we managed to have this brand new food product to the market. It has been like in the lab, it has been everything in the lab. Once we get a capacitated lab, thanks to the CRP again, we had an MPT like HAL from the university, and we bought all the required small machines, also consumables, and we managed to develop this brand new product. Everybody loved it because of its healthy one. Organic, gluten-free, low GI. I can mention a lot of things about this product. Then once we get this product, of course, we took it to the market as a startup, So it deserves. But even we approach different food companies like to partner with us to take it into the market. Everybody says, oh, this is just a new product. No. We don't need to lose our name. Blah, blah. Now everybody is flooding, especially the mega food companies. They are coming to Arba Minch for more. I know I can mention a lot of food companies, even Ethiopian companies as well as international companies. They took the product, they did all the analysis, and they showed a strong interest to partner with us, of course. But now our startup is taking the lead to take this product to the market. So once we have the flour, as I told you before, we had either the porridge or the bread. Now we're gonna have the kocho cake, the kocho cookies, the kocho waffle, kocho cream cake, whatever is like possible with this brand new food product, because they have been using the paste for the last thousands of years. Now we got a multi-purpose flour that can be applied for anything, for anyone who loves gluten-free foods, anyone who loves organic, anyone who needs diabetic-friendly food. It can be applied anywhere. So, of course, this is some of the major characteristics of if that's the funny part. If we manage to produce this flour in large scale, the selling price of kocho flour is 35% less than the traditional wheat flour. What makes it competitive? One is the high yield per plant. The second one is we don't import anything from abroad. We don't need any inorganic fertilizer. Everything is localized. So the production cost is very low. And the second one is we don't import any raw material from abroad. So it's really highly competitive. everybody like loves healthy food. In the meantime, it's affordable and it's also accessible to everyone when it gets like into the market. Then now we have everything on board. We have the product, we have all the certificates, the license, everything on board. Now the issue is that we have more than 20 million Ethiopians who really love to have this technology everywhere. So how can we scale it up? Of course, one of the game-changing innovation was the startup culture, the startup culture. So thanks to the BNOC, again, ICGEP, now we are taking the startup cultures to 5 Ensete growing regions of Ethiopia. We have even like 10 days, it has been like a few weeks ago, we launched a brand new product which is called Abo Flow. We know, I have best Brazilian friends, of course. We know Brazilian coffee, Vietnam coffee, Colombia coffee, of course, Ethiopian coffee, everywhere. Now we already started branding Ensete across different regions. Chabo now, Walliso area in Ethiopia, which is more of to the central Ethiopia, one of the best kocho or bulla flour, the paste, they love it. But when we take them to Arba Minch and when we show them everything, they were really impressed. Then we brought them to Arba Minch, we trained them, we provided them the starter culture. Even I went there, thanks to Betty. I went there and we delivered them all the starters, which is being supported by the BNOC or BioBoost project. Then they immediately controlled the market in Additives. We got competitors from our own from our own sister company from Walliso area. So now again we are scaling up startup production in Ethiopia so that we can deliver. Now we already signed agreement in Sidama region. I can mention where it is. It's like from southern Ethiopia. We signed in the central region. Even last week we had women's. The funny part is that we usually bring all women's. So then they will own the business. We provide them the training. We provide them the machine. We provide them a startup kit, including the starter culture. Now they will start the business, and they're gonna go to the market. So that's why we had like a small and micro enterprise all over Ethiopia as a result of this innovation. It's like shaking the food market in Ethiopia. And we are still sending the food product to Kenya as we did it with Ensete plantation, So this is the Chabo floor. These are the women. When I went there, I was really surprised because I expected to have the paste from our starter culture. And thanks to them, they already mentioned this was produced by our own starter culture. And they managed to have the floor to the local market. They are selling it with a premium price. That's one of the first move advantage, So they are selling it to the market. This is from Walliso area. Now we have it from from central Ethiopia. We have from Walaita region. We gave them everything. And again, we are trying to reach more micro and small enterprises. But now Lucy Enset becomes a little bit medium scale enterprise. So here is our plan again. To be honest, we reached over 4,000 women across the 5 regions of Ethiopia with all these technologies. We trained them, we provided them all the technology. Now they started delivering service. One, they are giving service to the local community. And the second one is they are selling the food product to the market. 4,000 in the last few months. And they are giving service and selling the product to 32,000 people across the 5 regions of Ethiopia. Even this is apart from Additives, So we are planning to have it at the end of this year. We are planning to reach 100,000. The trick is that we are planning to deliver the starter cultures and some of the technologies to the women. We don't need to invest a lot of things on these things. So this is the plan. We already mapped it. We already signed the agreement with the different micro enterprises to deliver this starter culture and the technologies. We already mapped it in collaboration of Ministry of Agriculture. And again, these are, this is how they are using. This is the first pilot plant in Ethiopia, which is in Dorze area. After this one, now we have 35 pilot plants, end-to-end processing sites all over Ethiopia. And that's why we received over this year alone, we received around 4 National Excellence Award from Ministry of Innovation, from Ethiopian Intellectual Property Rights Office, and I can mention a lot. A total of 14 national and international awards we received after it. It's not big, but it's like the collaboration that we have together, the science behind this all massive work like deserves some sort of award. Yeah, this is across all regions. For example, this is Lucy Enset team, and this is the Arba Minch team. But if we go to the Highland, it was exclusively led by women, meaning the women, they own the main business, but the men can also be involved in the marketing and that of the retail part. And this one is also another cooperative from the Walaita area. We have 2 cooperatives in Walaita area. They are using our, and I took this picture from the national media. They went there, they had a documentary about the technology, about the impact they are having in that region, So that they had, and most of them they are unemployed users. Some of them are university graduates, some of them are TVET graduates, some of them are grade 12 complete. They don't have any job at all. Now we are creating a new business without a scratch as a result of this old technology. But they have all the certificates, by the way. Area specific. If I say Brazilian coffee, then there has to be some conformity assessment and everything. They have all the quality certificate for this product in terms of their geographical location. Of course, we are working towards this called mass production of the starter culture. It's already undergoing. Hopefully, at the end of this year, we're gonna reach more into micro and medium enterprises so that they can benefit the most out of this technology. Of course, we're gonna have gluten-free pasta. Anyone who loves gluten-free, diabetic-friendly. So at the end of this year, we are expecting to have gluten-free bars or snacks, and the most important is pasta. So that's a trick to get into the Italian or the European market. So we're gonna work toward this goal. Because once we have these all enterprises, the production will be surplus. So that's why we're gonna target some other African region, especially because Ensete-based flours are really ideal for the preparation of African traditional foods all over Africa. So this is the summary of the innovation. I'm really sorry, I don't know what happened to it. Yeah, the first one, the first one is how they process it traditionally. We have Ensete, this is how they process it, and there you can see how this is how they process it with the local the basic tools. Then this is how they ferment the product, the final product. Then after Ensete process it 7 days. This is how the whole innovation in one slide. Yeah, we are working, we are empowering women. They have every work, Ensete related work was on their burden. Now they started getting additional money out of this innovation. Not only money, but also they got extra time to take care of their children, plus to have other side businesses aside. When we go to the overall conclusion, before this, I think I have one more thing to say. This is also from the leftover product, When we have the machines everywhere, now we had more of the Ensete fiber, So what we did is that we trained the women with the crafts, craft making process, We have so many leftover products from the system. Then once they process their Ensete, they have most of their time they are free. Now we train them. They have their own shop in Dorje area, which is one of the most tourist attraction site. Now they are selling this product to the local market. It's exclusively from Ensete, So we train them. Now they own the business, The business. They have their own account. They have their own business license. And the women, again, this is just a side business, They are getting, we try to connect the food business with this one, and now they are getting into the international market. In the near future, in Ethiopia, we are banning plastics, the use of single-use plastic bags. So the leftovers from Ensete again is ideal for the preparation of paper bags, biodegradable bags. It doesn't require any technology. Just milling all the leftovers from Ensete, then it's getting a mold or something like that. So we will again train another group, especially the women group, so that they can take the paper bag. There is a big vacuum for the bag, so we're gonna take that to the next level. So we need to transform the food system, not only in Ethiopia, but throughout Africa. Just, we need to have a backup plan for the climate, for the security, and we need to, again, explore the potential of the underutilized or untapped resources of Africa. And of course, we need to work on the fermentation as well as on the tissue culture. We are also working with JUKWA, Jomo Kenyatta University of Agricultural Technology in Kenya, in propagating Ensete just for Kenyan farmers. But we need to scale it up to other parts of the world, like to other parts of tropical countries. And we need to build inclusive value chains across all these underutilized crops. That's the end of my seminar. Thank you so much.
So new food and food additives, product development, how do you do that? Why you do that? First question for you. What's a new food product? We're talking about new food products, product development, but what is the food product? Can you define that? Maybe Addisu, yes. Yeah, go on.
Something that hasn't been used just food before.
Yeah, that's simple like that. A new food product is simply an edible item, can be a formulation that will be on first time on the market. Can be something simple. I just change the taste from vanilla to strawberry. It's a new food product already. Or I can use a new food mattress. That was the case from Addisu. He choose to change completely the mattress that he has on the beginning. So instead of wet flour, insect flour. So that could be also the approach to a new food product. This new food product can be evolutionary or revolutionary. So we can just change something that could be something already new, or we can change everything on the process, on the mattress, the approach, the shelf life, and it can be something revolutionary. We can use novel ingredients or substrates. We have just a great case here. Other case that I'm going to be talking also, of course, is about the camel milk, since I come from Lyon, from the south of Morocco, and the camel milk really important there. We can reformulate compositions, because now we have the food maps. We want to target the health of the consumers, reduce allergen part potential, target lactose intolerance, target gluten purpose, so that people may have this concern as well. So we can reformulate to have the same product, but according to the needs of the consumers. The clear example here, like we will have the pasta, but we will have a gluten-free pasta based on Ensete. So we have the same product on the end, pasta. But how we did in the appeal that we have on the end are different. So it's gluten-free, since you can target people that have this kind of intolerance as well in the beginning. Innovation formats and technologies as well. We can have here the target to the conditions where we are targeting, where we're producing that. If you are in Africa, Morocco, we have some energy constraints, we have our water scarcity. So we can switch how we do that. We can do the milk pasteurization using the thermal treatments, using a lot of water, or we can do some no thermal technologies using shortwave ultraviolet, ozone, high pressure, and so on, that we can have the same products on the end of the chain, but changing process. So you're not using thermal treatment, we are using emerging treatments. And we can have some value-add functions that we may have some appeals. Now we know that there's the people that has the problem with the iron, the anemic people, the vitamin D is a concern on the Muslim countries. So we can have this functional, add something that can be appealing and be functional for the consumers on the end of the chain. So we can have this appeal, how we target this product on the end, how we produce that. And also some issues that we may have, sometimes we need to target. We had a brief discussion this morning about that, about the regulatory framework. Sometimes you have an innovative product, it's nutritional, it's good, the consumers accept well, but the country is not accepted to be marketed. So we need also to englobe that when we're innovating food product, and we want to arrive to the market. We have new products, we have new process, but why do we need that? Do you really need these new products? We're just having doing that for fun. What do you think? It's for fun or because we need it? Great answer. The answer that we need to hear. Sometimes we are thinking that we are just changing the taste because it's nice, because we can have more variety of tastes on the end. But even the taste, sometimes we needed this new taste because of the cultural heritage from the consumers. Consumers for Ethiopia, they need this ferment taste. They like this taste. Brazilians, we like the sweet with the sour at the same time. So we need to target our consumers. We need. That's why the need of the targeting development of new products can be the taste, but it can be something with more pronounced feedback because the consumers, the special needs. Now we have several consumers with the lactose intolerance. This is a major concern. It starts to be even more important, and not only the intolerance, but also the allergies, peanut allergies. We can target that using science and using technology, food processing as well. And we can explore the material that you have. You can explore new food mattress, Ensete, camel milk, and we can reduce the food losses as well. Because the food losses that this already mentioned is 40% from the globe. 1/3 of all the entire production is just lost. So you can use that as a food mattress to do the processing, do another products on the end that can be rich and be used for the consumers. And when are doing food process, food development, food products, we can also do feed products. If you're not good for the humans because you have several restrictions that we need to target and overcome, we can think about animals, we can use our fertilizers, we can use about other aspects that we can be using the same concept of the development. Of course, the main target, the main purpose will be always the food, the human consumption. Some global drivers of innovation. The first one would be demographic shifts and urbanization. The countries are changing. Now we are working, I spend the entire day working, we don't have time to cook, to prepare food, to go to buy our raw material. We want something that's easy to eat, something that's nutritional easily. So this demographic shifts also incentivate and motivate the change and the need for new food products. Also, the rising health and wellness focus. We want to be healthy. We want to eat something that can bring to us all the nutritional composition that my body needs. I need more protein that I was eating before because now I go to the gym and so on. And the demand for convenience and also personalization. For convenience, the ready-to-eat meals are a great approach, but the part of the personalization. After the pandemics, mainly start to appear this kind of appealing. We need to have food that's targeted, nutritional targeting one type of population. So the personalization, even if we are going to the market, we want to have this personalization of the food. So that's why the main drivers of the need and how we choose the products that we're going to be developing. Just to explain or clear this approach, when we had on that century home prepared food profile, we had one type of food, and on that time already we had some new food products, but that time could be something, the rice that was parbolized and was just packed. That was an innovation on the 1990s. So with the evolution, of course, the 23rd profile is different, of course, so the needs of foods need to evolve. And we pass from one type of food prototyping, food preparations, more time consuming, to the other one that we need to be fast. Usually we use a lot the microwave and this approach. So we need to know our consumers on the end of the chain to see what he's looking for, what he wants. He wants to be spending 2 hours to cook something, or he wants to just warm through 3-4 minutes. Besides this consumers approach, we have also the sustainable pressures. that we need to be focusing when we are developing something. On the part of the food development, we have the resource scarcity. We need to be targeting that, especially water and the land. So we don't have too much water available on the world. Brazilians, we are lucky actually. We have a lot of water there. But Morocco, they don't have. They have a shortage of water consumption. So they don't have this water to be using to food production. They want to drink this water. The climate change, of course, is something really important because change the type of raw material that you may have to produce the food products on the end. If you change the basics, materials, of course you change the product on the end. And also the need to reduce the food waste, because if you are doing all these efforts and you are not consuming, why you are doing that? 1/3 is being wasted. So something that we need to target also. That's why you also need to develop new food products, new food process to ensure that we are targeting all the sustainable goals. These are the main sustainable goals, of course, that we're targeting with the food. First, one of them is zero hunger, but all of them are really important. We are targeting when we develop a new food product. To develop a new food product, we have some steps that you follow. Actually, all of them, Addisu just mentioned when he was explaining how he did the Ensete, how he followed until I arrived to the end for the chain with the cookies, step by step. And by the concept behind that was the first step to have the idea. He had the idea, the Ensete is there. So now I need to see the market. Okay, we have the market for that. Consumer insights. He mentioned his grandmother. So the market is there. He knows where it comes from. And the workshop should target other consumers outside of our environment or ecosystem to be sure that that's the good idea that I can be targeting and developing. Then we have the project scoping, of course, the SWOT analysis to see the pros and cons, the timeline, the budget that I need. Here, we are all time talking about budget, because something important. If the investment is not suitable or equitable, why I'm doing that? Because the traditional way maybe could be better. So we need to do this kind of analysis before starting the project, the product develop itself. So finally, on the third step, we arrive to the product development. That's the fun part. That's the formulation, the ingredient selection, to do the blends, to see what we can produce from that. We have the prototype creation. Now we have some other appeals that we may use, incorporate on the process, the emerging technologies, the 3D printing, and so on. Then we need to optimize that because we have on the beginning, we have a product, maybe the color is not accepted by the consumers, or the nutrition profile is good, but the taste is not. So then all of that is on the product development. That's the fun part. Then we need to do some verification tests because the product or the concept is good, but we need to be safe. So we need to run microbiology, chemistry analysis, run the shelf life analysis, safety, study the regulatory framework. That's the verification testing. So we are good, we have the product, we verify everything. Then you still need to validate. Then after have the product, verify, validate, you need to go to consumers again and have the feedback not only for the trial consumers, but of the broad consumers. On the product development, when you do the consumers test, we are talking about 50%, 100 consumers. On the validation test, we are talking about 500, 1,000 consumers to validate the product that we discussed with your target. Then finally, we go to the market. Then we can launch the product. Then it's outside from the food scientist, her hands, and start to be with the media, the marketing, and industrial processing to launch the product. And after that we launch, then we can see if your work succeeds or not. The sales, the price, market, everything is fine, will be the last step. Before we go to the launch of the product, we need to know the product itself, but we need to answer the questions. Our product needs to answer some questions. The first one, why do you eat? Why do you eat? Can we answer that? Why do you eat? Why do you eat? Because I'm hungry. It's illogical.
To enjoy, to survive.
Enjoy to survive.
At the end of the
That's start to be close. Yeah. Energy is one of the needs. But why do we need? We need the material to feed our bodies. Feed with what? Vitamins, minerals, carbohydrates. We need the nutritional part. That's why we eat. We eat because we need this. We cannot produce, our bodies don't produce it. So we need to come from something, some source outside from our bodies to eat, to feed, to be in good health, in good shape, feel fine. So that's the why. Then we come to the question: how do we choose our food? How do you choose your food?
the composition.
Not often.
Taste.
Taste. No, some consumers, especially when we are in the scientific community, of course, they will say, I read the labels, I can see the nutritional table, but not the normal consumers. The normal consumers, usually they choose the food because it's tasty. The taste, because if your taste is nice, or the smell is okay, or the shape is, especially the kids, when you have the shape that's, I don't know, a ship format, airplane format, they're right about that. So that's how we choose our food, especially about the sensory aspects. There's the taste, the color, and that's how we choose. And consumers, you usually don't think about that, and it's not because of that we eat, but you need also to be thinking about the safety of our food. The part of the microbial aspects, there's no contamination, no pathogenic bacteria, microorganisms there. Toxicology part needs to be okay as well. So that's all this blend we need to think when we are launching a new food product. We have several challenges on the way to develop a new food product. Addisu is doing like this, so I think that we're quite discussing something that could be important. The sourcing consistency, where I'm sourcing that product, where I have Ensete in Ethiopia. If I want to do Ensete products in Morocco, now I'm based in Morocco. Can I do that? Not so far. Soon, hope so. But I don't have the source material. I don't have the consistency about that. So I need the raw material available where I'm producing my food. This is our fit. Need to fit my market. I'm targeting Ethiopian, I'm an Italian, a Moroccan, according to the profile of their taste. We know that the Ethiopians, they prefer this ferment taste, Moroccans the sweet, really sweet taste, Brazilians are in between. Shelf life stability. How long can I keep my food as safe as possible? Because then that will be linked to the market. Can I make this food that I develop here arrive to China, to the farm markets? I need the time for that. I need shelf life for that. I'm gonna jump some. The price. The price is also something important. If I have some market material that they are comparable, like two types of flours on the market, the wheat one and the corn one, I will easily compare the prices to see if these ones cost 3 euros, that one 4, which one I'm choosing. So it's something that can be challenging when we are developing a new food product and launch it to the market, and to see if the acceptance of the public will be welcoming or not. After this background, we have the why and how we are developing a new food product. You arrive to the critical food development. Now we have some studies. I just had a clear one. And we classify this on 3 main groups. The first one, using non-traditional substrates, Ensete, camel milk, and so on. The other group, targeting and having the claim, the idea coming from the formulation, the health personalization, the needs from the consumers, lactose-free, gluten-free, and so on. And the part of the additives, because when it comes from these two first groups, we see that from the new food matrix, we can explore that deeper, doing some additives, natural additives. That's a claim that we have now to reduce the chemical additives, replacing them by something natural, so we can have some additives there. And because we will need additives also to have these health benefits or to preserve these health benefits, so we have this third label there. Some emerging substrates that you have nowadays, 2025, when we see on the market or the potential market, we have this top 9, let's say. That could be something related to algae. It's a great market. We have some good products that could be developed there. Insect is something that's popping up. Sometimes we have some constraints about that because it's vermin insects. Then we have Ensete, a red showcase, really promising, and I'm going to be supporting that project forever in my life. And we have camel milk. Of course, I work with camel milk, so it's a new food mattress. We know that people from Dubai, from the Emirates, they are producing some food products about that. I'm going to explain a little bit later why it's still challenging. And we have baobab from moringa, teff. And on the corner there, we have the upcycled byproducts. It starts to be something important. The peels, the seeds, to be valorized that, reduce the losses on the process, to be able to have more products on the market with the lower price. So that's the main purpose. The first product that I'm going to be talking about, the cases, is the new product called tomato sauce. No reaction. Is it a new product? We have tomatoes, nothing new, right? But it's not a new product, and we're going to talk about we're in 2025. Of course, now it's not a new product. When it was discovered and registered, it was in 1692. On that time, it was a new product. And later, we have the canned tomato sauce. It is some new product nowadays? Of course not. Of course not. It's far from that. But in 1795, it was a new product. So the timing here is evolution. We need to see nowadays what's new nowadays, what's the need nowadays to propose the right solutions. Of course, tomato sauce is not something new now, but was before. But we have still, if it's something old, we still can add some changes that can make this product special. Like this article. This article was just published 2025, this year. Actually, it was published 2 weeks ago. And they developed a new tomato sauce, but they enriched it with bioactive compounds that come up from byproducts. So we still can improve something that is traditional. They could increase the polyphenols, that's something really nice, increase also the antioxidant activity, really nice as well. So the product that we're developing needs to be adequate to its time and to this context. So the time just to the sauce was already something new. Nowadays, we need to increase a little bit more than to have something that can increase the market. The second part of the product would be the oat yogurt. Now we have already this oat milk that was a new product. It's not so old as the tomato sauce, but of course we already see on the market. So we have the packet for that. That's the label from lactose-free, of course, and think about the animal health as well. That some consumers are targeting this kind of point. It's a nice product, and we always need to do the sensory trials to see how the consumers are receiving that. And the purpose behind this article, what they did, they saw that the consumers, not from the Europe but abroad, they could not accept well the oat milk. So what they did, we are doing a oat yogurt, and then they had a good result about the acceptance of this product. So sometimes we need to see the geography approach, where we are. Our public is claiming for that, they want that. So that could be something that can target and be aligned with the consumer's needs, what they want. Another product is the dairy fiber concentrates. That's using the upcycle or the losses that we may have, the seeds, the pills. Because these type of products, they are really rich in fibers, some vitamins, minerals, and other products for nutrients that answers the questions, why do we eat? Because we have the nutritional profile in there. And we can do some tablets and table bars like this to be rich. And that one was done 100% using upcycled products. They are not using the main content of the product itself, but the parts that was wasted. Good taste profile. The appearance quite good, but to arrive to that point was a really long essays and trials. So on this study, on this approach, we can do the full valorization of the resources that we have to have something that's good, health, and can be tasty as well. Do you think that the whey protein is something new? Again, not nowadays, right? But why I bring the whey protein? Because we have a lot of yogurt production, milk production, pasteurization process, cheese production, and we have a waste there, a huge amount of waste. And it was a great problem for the food industry because you need to do the treatments, because you cannot just throw away this waste, this environment not friendly. So to solve that problem, what the food industry did, they developed a new food product because they had a problem. So they developed what? The whey. Now we have 3 types of whey just coming from the cow milk. And from this idea, we have also the cowpea whey, protein concentrate that they all developed based on that idea from the whey protein. So we reduced the impact on the environment. We did something that was a problem for the industry, and the consumers are paying a lot to have this kind of product. This was a problem for the food industry. So we can also add value to our products. We just need to target the right consumers on the right moment. If I go with the whey protein, I don't know, in Congo, maybe, they will pay 100 euros. The bottom of that, I don't think so. So the product needs to be targeting the public that will be concerned. Also, for now, this is the European market. We have this nutrient-free sausage. There's a lot of brands to reduce the chemical additives, and also something that you can be targeting, that's the production of additives. So here we cannot use the chemical one, but we can replace it. And here they replace it using beetroot that can give this color that we need this color when we are producing sausage, and without using chemical products. Good approach. And chemical reduction with the health appeal. So the consumers also are claiming about the lactose-free products. All of them, on the beginning, were only the milk, because the key who has the lactose intolerance also wants to drink milk to have this pleasure on the life that balances how do you choose our food. And now we're evolving, and we have several products that were done with that. Here, lactose-free ice cream, but you have also several other products using lactose-free milk. And the evolution here was on how we are producing the lactose-free milk to do the food processing. You have the ice cream that you are done using lactose-free milk, but how they did is not using lactose. That's true, normal. That's the normal way that you do it. But the processing, we can do targeting the processing itself. So we can destroy the molecule from the lactose, not using lactase, but using immersion processing as well. And not only from one product, but for all the products that have this claim of lactose-free. So answering our consumer needs, we need more products that are lactose-free for the lactose intolerance. Another project was about the taktuk. I imagine that you may don't know us there. Do you know us there? We are Morocco. So maybe Vitor knows, is a salad that's really typical in Morocco. And they like This is my pronunciation. I'm Brazilian, not Arabic, so sorry about that. This is the actually in the south they talk called taktuk, but can be taktuka as well. I suppose. What was the problem here? Because we have now the Moroccan community, they have the anemic and lack of vitamin D, and we're trying to solve this problem of anemic with a solution that's targeting the public, how the consuming profile. And this is very common on their behavior. They eat a lot. So what we did, we incorporate a new plant that could grow on the desert, that was the salicornia, and is really rich in iron. So we did the formulations to incorporate the salicornia on the taktuk and give to the consumers. They mentioned that between the salads, when we were thinking about that, the taktuk was one of the most important. Taktuka and also zaluk, both of them. We did the same process for both of them, and we had more or less the same result. This is the traditional one, and that one is the salicorn. To see if the consumers could accept well, we did the soil trials, of course, and they could almost didn't identify the difference between them. And about the nutritional profile, we increased in 15 times the calcium content and almost 50 times as well the iron content. So this was a health appeal that we have for this product, respecting the cultural aspects from the community. Moroccans eat that not every day, but a lot. So we increase the nutritional composition by targeting what type of food ingredients we are using there. And I need to talk about camel milk. It's mandatory for me almost. So the camel milk food products, we need camel milk on the beginning. There's some advantages compared to cow milk, because even we have lactose, the product can be consumed by lactose-intolerant consumers. Besides, it is rich in calcium, potassium, iron. There's more amount than compared to cow milk. We have already on the market some products that come from the society called Camelicious on the Emirates. So we have the pasteurized milk, and we have several other products: ice cream, yogurt, butter, and also cheese. That is most traditional one. These products were produced in the Emirates and using the dromedary, but marmori. So it's one race that you can produce all these products. If you have another race that has need, that we found in the North Africa, we cannot do the same products. That's the challenge that we have when we do camel cheese, because the protein profile is completely different. It depends on the race of the animal. If you have a llama, dromedary, a camel, that are all under the umbrella from camels. So you need to target according to our source, our raw material, and our public, our needs. When we found out that, we start to work all over again to produce the food products, link it to the needs from Morocco, because there we have the Hasni race, different camel profile, different milk profiling. And we just had this patent. There's talk about that, how we can produce the cheese using the milk from the region. And we had good results so far. We were able to coagulate that were not being able before, and produce 4 types of cheese. There's the fresh ones, soft ones, and hard. That's the Gouda, Camembert, and so on. But you cannot call like that because it's made from camel, not from cows. So this was of the approach that we had. About the camels, that's where we can have the production of camel milk on the middle of nowhere. So we don't have water, we don't have energy, and we have the breeders, and we have the milk there. So we don't have the cold chain, we don't have the cold storage. People are far from the cities, so we cannot go to them and say, use the pasteurizer, clean your hands, use water to wash your hands. It's not something that would be happening. These are conditions. So we have to try not to solve the problem, but to try to target or help. We are simplifying the process to have this camel milk production by using emerging technologies. The first one is the shortwave ultraviolet. It's a lamp, shortwave ultraviolet. It's really cheap. And it's not this device that we are using, it's another one that you can go to the field and the breeders can use it to treat their milk. And we are extending shelf life. And at the same time, by chance, we are reducing the cholesterol content. So we are plugging two problems at the same time. We have good results using emerging technologies. But also we are using other two technologies. That's the ultrasound. Usually we use on the lab for other purpose, but you can also use to this kind of treatments, reduce the spoilage, and also do the modulation of allergens. So for us, it was a good result. We can use this kind of approach. And the third one, that was the ozone. Also, we are having good results, reducing the pathogens and increasing vitamin D. That was another problem that we have in Africa. That's the lack of vitamin D for the communities. And the last case, the Ensete food products. Of course, I need to mention about the Ensete products today. This already showed how the Ensete is produced, the products that he has, the products that he had available so far. This one we ate last time when we went to Ethiopia, and it was really delicious. But we still can add more products there. He just mentioned about that. We have some products done, check. But you can add more. We can have the bread, not only the sweet one. We can have the soft one, the traditional one. We use the butter in the morning, maybe a butter from the camel milk. Why not? But you can have the meals, but you can have the ready-to-eat meals as well. That could be easy to the consumers because that one take 2 hours to be prepared, more or less. So 2 hours is too much. So you can have something almost ready that could be boiled or warm, yes, to our consumers. The pasta, something that could be nice as well, gluten-free, as Addisu mentioned. Baby food, why not? Food additives as well. And there's a whole world of products that can be done using Ensete. This already mentioned, so I'm just going to highlight. Is our unique crop. It can be used for a lot of food products. There's a lot of potential. And we need to invest more time and effort on that product. As my last message, which one has more than should, but no problem. We have the drivers for the demand of supply. Why we're doing these new food products, that we need to involve the consumer needs, evaluate the raw material that you have, and have the modern lifestyles that are targeting our needs. The core foundations, we have to ensure the food safety, enhance nutritional composition, and optimize sensorial characteristics for our food. And the top emerging products, I mentioned 9 before, but I'm going to take only 2. That would be camel milk and Ensete. Okay. That's it that I want to share with you today. If you have any questions or comments, I'm for it.